Now, the young Kanan in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan has shown us that he's not even a fraction of the character that we saw in Power. It's safe to say that even Jukebox is more advanced than Kanan at this age, and possibly one of the reasons why Kanan showed some fear when it came to Jukebox in Power. But with Courtney Kemp telling us that there's a story that they need to stick to because of the original source material, there are still going to be some connections, Easter eggs and dots that they're going to connect to, not just with Jukebox's character, but with Kanan's character as well. So in this video, we're going to look at some of these connections that we've seen over the last few episodes of Raising Kanan with the young Kanan and the Kanan that we saw in Power, how the timeline in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan starts in 1991, but why 1992 is so crucial and why we could really see Kanan become this savage around 1992. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But let's start with the character of Kanan in Power, and then we're going to connect the dots throughout this video and come back to why we see Kanan the way he is now, but why Kanan is going to be one ruthless character when we get to 1992. But he showed us from season 1 that he was someone who was strategic and calm. For someone to have been put away in prison for 10 years by someone he taught and nurtured, which was Ghost, and stay calm for that length of time takes some doing. But Kanan did it. He thought about 100 ways of how he was going to kill Ghost when he got out of prison, but he thought the best way is for him to have Ghost killed before he comes out of prison, so he can then use Tommy to get to the Connect and then kill Tommy too. He knew he couldn't afford a war with someone like Tommy, and we all know the reasons as to why, but the main focus is how he used and manipulated his son Sean against his uncle G. Kanan really was a master at manipulation, using the 48 laws of power, first manipulating him into making sure he keeps his secrets so he could plot his way to the top of rightfully his organization. Kanan was a character that saw Ghost and Tommy make all this success, make all this money and build this business that effectively was Kanan's from the beginning, and he was on a mission to take back rightfully what was his. Kanan couldn't be linked with killing Ghost, just like I mentioned with the Tommy issue, so he gave the task to Sean to kill Ghost, and he gave it to Sean because he was the one who could get close enough to Ghost, and he needed someone around Ghost where Ghost would feel comfortable and let his guard down, and he thought Sean was the right person for this. Now Dre and Kanan told Sean to drive him down an alley in West 20s, a couple of minutes away from the club, and that's where Kanan wanted him to shoot Ghost. Now Dre was also someone who Kanan taught and took under his wing while he was in prison, and Dre was someone who also learned Kanan's blueprint. He was a mix of Ghost, Kanan and a rat, but Dre and Kanan mentioned to Sean that when he shoots him, he's gonna be stuck in wind and shit, trying to get air, eyes glazed, mouth like a fucking fish, something he probably learned from Kanan during his time in prison. So let's rewind it back to the timeline in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan in 1991, where they focused heavily on two moments where Kanan saw two people die. The first was Buck 20, with D-Wiz telling Kanan that Buck was trying to speak, and how they focused heavily on Kanan, watching him suck wind, trying to breathe, eyes glazed, and a mouth like a fucking fish. And again, fast forward to episode 4, where again Kanan saw Marvin kill one of Unique's boys, and how we watched him take his balaclava off, trying to suck wind, get air, eyes glazed, and a mouth like a fucking fish. And this is something that Dre and Kanan warned Sean what would happen, and what to expect when he would shoot Ghost, because this is exactly what Kanan saw with his first two deaths that he saw in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. So Power Book 3 Raising Kanan are connecting the dots with several conversations that Kanan had in the past with Dre, Sean, and will do with so many others, but also with Power Book 2 Ghost, especially with Tariq, and I'm going to come to why 1992 will be so important for Kanan. But first we just need to learn about Tariq and Davina before we get to talking about 1992. But over the past few episodes, it just goes to show why Kanan took such a liking to Tariq, because the way Raquel sees Kanan as a reflection of herself, Kanan saw Tariq as a younger version of him as well, albeit Kanan and Tariq grew up in two complete separate upbringings and times, with Kanan seeing a lot more than Tariq did. You can't doubt there are so many similarities between the two characters. Raquel and Tasha both accepted Kanan and Tariq for who they are and accepted them into the game, just like how we saw Kanan bring home this bloody shirt in episode 4 for his moms to find. It was really a rookie mistake after he'd been taught to burn his shirt in episode 1 by Marvin and Lulu, and in Power Book 2 Ghost, Tariq brought home his bloody shirt after helping Drew deal with DC Joe, and he was almost caught with it by Lauren. And again, a mistake by Tariq considering he was taught by Tasha to burn his clothes after he killed Ray Ray, both making the same rookie mistakes, but they are two characters who are still young and with a lot more to learn. Now Tariq was burned by Effie in Power when he was at Chode, and this is something we're yet to see for Kanan, but we're slowly coming to the point where he will be, and this is going to be another resemblance, because the wheels are now in motion with Davina after episode 4. Davina was forced into telling Unique about the location of the house that Kanan came out of, and that ultimately led the stash house being robbed in episode 4, and Kanan learning another harsh lesson, but we won't see him learning this lesson yet, because his dumbass is going to think it was Scrappy who actually leaked the location of the stash house, and we'll see him confront Scrappy, and Kanan will find himself being arrested by Detective Howard in episode 5. And just before we talk about Davina's role in a bit more detail, I am intrigued to see if Kanan is someone who can throw his hands, because we know Tariq can't, but we'll soon find out next week. But back to Davina, because it actually seems as if she cares about Kanan, because she told Unique that she doesn't want to see anything happen to him and doesn't want to see Kanan hurt. but Unique planted the seed into Davina's mind about Kanan not really letting on how much he actually knows about Buck's death. At some point I do expect this to come full circle and Davina to really learn the truth, and we know she's been playing Kanan to the left ever since first grade. Now Kanan in his narration told us that Davina Harrison was the dopest girl on the south side, and no question she was a dime. And here's where we're going to rewind it back to season 2 episode 3, where Kanan was giving a life lesson to Sean, where he told him, listen to me, a fine woman who knows she's fine is trouble. Now that bitch bad, and she knows she's bad, so watch your back. Now Davina Harrison is someone who Kanan definitely thinks is fine, but she doesn't know she's fine, not yet anyway, but I'm sure she will do, because she knows Kanan's liked her since the first grade, and she's been playing him to the left ever since. And episode 4 was pretty clear about Davina's intentions. She's willing to put her moms and her family before Kanan, and I'm sure it'll happen again, or there will be a moment where Davina puts herself first, and this is where Kanan will really get burned. I've always said that one of my death predictions for this season is Davina, and this is the big death that's going to come this season because Kanan needs this. Right now he's way too love-struck, he's too naive, and he's constantly making mistakes over and over again, and Davina's death is something that will probably put him on the path of being this strategic savage that we saw on Power. Whether he's actually the one to kill Davina, and whether the conversation with Tariq where he said you ain't a real killer till you kill someone you love was about Davina, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But the reason why I see this happening this season and why Kanan will turn into an absolute savage by around 1992 is because of the conversation he had with Dre in season 2 episode 9. So we're gonna rewind it back to this scene, and in this conversation he knew they had to get rid of Ghost and he was sick and tired of waiting. So he told Dre that they're gonna move to plan B, they were gonna catch Ghost outside the club and they were gonna drive by and spray that motherfucker like it was 1992, and he didn't give a fuck who was out there. Now from what we know from Kanan so far in 1991, this Kanan definitely ain't spraying no motherfucker, but when it comes to 1992 we're gonna see him possibly go outside Laces, which is the club in Raising Kanan, or somewhere else, and spray one of his enemies in a drive-by, and it's gonna be a real shift in his character. We're gonna see a real different beast in 1992, and something we won't see until maybe season 2, if they do move the timeline by a year every season that is. So what could turn Kanan into this beast and an absolute savage by 1992, I believe is the death of Davina, where he could kill him himself, or possibly Jukebox, which I've spoken about before. So we know Kanan who's going to be in training and learning all throughout season 1 until the turning point, which I think will come towards the end of the season, and as we move into 1992 we'll start to see this more ruthless and a more strategic and a savage Kanan, and someone who isn't afraid to pull the trigger, where we saw his hand shaking just before he pulled the trigger on Buck. But we're gonna have to wait until we reach 1992 until we see this, so that's the timeline of when I believe we really start to see Kanan change his ways. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Is Davina's death this season going to be the turning point for his character, or is it going to be something else in the Thomas organization and his family again as a result of someone's actions like Davina, because she's not afraid to put her moms ahead of Kanan just like she showed in episode 4. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.